Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Um,
And if anyone has
yeah,
any questions, because we're talking about gadgets here, or any comments, please feel free to leave a comment there, because I know we're talking about different types. So please drop a comment, drop a question if you have any, but anything, then we'll stop the conversation.
yeah, and
So
definitely because the topic is gadgets and there are so many out there, if you have any devices or tools that you really love, definitely share with
yes,
us because we might or might not know it.
yes, exactly. Drop your favorite gadget. I should leave that a pin comment. Drop your favorite gadget because I'm just interested.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
what
very
is
interested.
your favorite gadget? Here, I put when I typed it, it says gasket. So as in typing, do you want to start?
Sure, yeah. I did sort of a very casual poll when I announced this topic earlier this week, and I think most people tend to use just their phone, just apps, as kind of their main outdoor tech
Hmm.
resource, which is perfectly reasonable, I think, because that's what I use most of the time too.
Exactly.
And it's so easy to get your phone going,
Hmm.
get your get there's so many different apps now that can help you, right, track your trail. Fitness apps, I think, are getting better about this too. So and there's so many different options. I thought it was pretty interesting to see that um, most people still just mostly rely on their phones
Hmm.
and apps.
Yes. Well, that's like the biggest thing, though. I don't think like when you think about it overall, like your phone is probably the one gadget everyone else has, and it's one of the biggest assets out there. And that's
Absolutely.
why, like, that is why I recently had to change, get a new phone. Well, I got a used phone, but a gently used phone because my phone is so important. Like, and also because like I had an Android, well, I had a Pixel, I had a Samsung, and what happened, it was that the battery kept dying on me, and it got
Yeah.
scary because during the pandemic, you can't do group hikes, or you do socially distance hikes with like a friend or whatever. It's up to you, depending on your area. But
Yeah.
like, it's still, I started thinking about that because my phone would just die, and then it wouldn't like restart unless I had a battery charger to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I started freaking out. I was like, I cannot be solo hiking like this. It's not safe. And what
Yeah.
if I get lost? And I can depend on that. And so, and even though I had a GPS as a backup, I was like, no, I really got to get a better phone, especially since I'm going to the backcountry a little bit more this year. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to change my phone. And the Apple iPhone is, I know it's one of the best, and it has like there's many different ways to save the batteries too,
Yeah.
which I've learned. But yeah, the phone's a really critical like like a gadget to have. It not necessarily need to be the main one to use depending on what you're doing, but it is an essential to carry with you.
Yeah, I see someone commented portable chargers are game changers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not just for hiking, for camping, for road trips. Relied on my portable charger all the time.
Yes. Oh, yes. And within like the portable chargers too. So it was something we talked about. I guess we can
Hmm.
kind of go inside with that because
Yeah,
we were looking at different types of portable chargers, and like
I have mine here.
yes. Oh, you have yours. Yes, mine's somewhere here. Like, I'm so glad you brought yours. Yeah, tell me about yours because we had the same kind of a similar one.
Yeah, so I have an Anchor and I apologize, and my dog chewed it up, but it still works. Basically it has two ports. I can charge, I get like four charges out of for my phone out of this single brick here. Um, and you know, not trying to turn this too much into a product review, but this was recommended to me by my sister. She has a bigger one. But yeah, I like it so far. It's never led me astray.
And how much should it cost to get that one?
Oh, this one, yeah, it's super small, like fits in a jacket pocket pretty easily. Costs about, I want to say no more than $50.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact price.
Okay.
But also like it's several years old, so if you want to find this particular model, it's probably cheaper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, like
Um,
nowadays, it's so much cheaper because I bought mine from like
yeah.
Amazon, and And I got mine like for around $20, and I can send, I don't have it with me. Me and Steven share things, and it just gets probably in his backpack right now because he exchanges portable chargers, go back and forth. I end up with a dead one, so just exactly what I don't want to do. But
Yeah.
I mean, each has one charge. Actually, has one charge. So I have 4 charges. I get left over with 1 or 2 charges. But it's like it has a little solar panel. Even though with the solar panel external ones, like I think it's. We always laugh about that, even if it hasn't any like usage of that, because unless you actually have a real like big solar panel, like if that's when you actually get a good charge. Even then, it takes like a long time to get a charge, which is why like we talked about these solar panel external chargers, and they're really in the thing of the. So I have this one mini one with a small panel. It's worth like $20, and it has 4 charges. And I found something with equivalent battery compared to Goal Zero, which is a big name product. The same thing, same look, and the Goal Zero is like $150, and this one I got, it's like an off-brand, I got it for like $22, and it works just as good. And then so Anchor is a really good brand. You want to go that route. If you just want to go to the point of going to like Amazon, get some $20, that works too. I'm all for cutting costs, but of course with you, like you got yours a few years back, and I do know prices were a lot more higher then. But now it's abundant, and you can, because phones are more abundant, so you can probably get like an external battery charger for a low cost and for 4 charges, and you don't spend $150 on it.
Yeah, like I think my partner, he got his external battery charger, I think just like at some like work fair for free. I don't know the brand, but it's just this like silver brick, and he gets a couple charges out of it too. He has a Samsung phone, so I know that the battery life, as you know, is very different. Like often my phone, like I get easily 2 days out of my phone with like normal usage. So I know he charges his phone pretty frequently, but
that's the same phone for you. We charge it like throughout the day. It's a nightmare. Someone commented living well with Meg, so safety is definitely worth the investment. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to. But that sounds like it. But yeah, I can get all different types. But one thing to remember, I guess like people go back and forth with the external battery chargers, is that the more charges you have, the more it's going to weigh. It's just going to be heavier, and that's like just how it is. And then but you can't avoid that. It's just a bigger battery. But also with the solar ones we're looking into, is that they are much heavier because you're actually carrying the solar panel.
The solar panel.
Oh yeah, I know. I looked into that, and the PCT, we hiked 2,300 miles. We gone like 5 days, as much as 7 days without signal for 2 people. And my phone I let it die because it's a Samsung, but I still got a charge out of it. But we didn't have one. We just used one like from Amazon for like $30, 4 charges, and it lasted for 5 days. So if you really want that solar one, you can go ahead, pay the price. But that's if like, I guess if you're a big heavy user, maybe you're using it solely dependent on your phone. But like it's not necessary, I would say.
I think I agree. I mean, my only experience where we've had really just like 2 weeks worth of travel kind of nonstop was during a road trip I did 2 years ago. But we ended up stopping at campgrounds. We got pretty lucky that a lot of them had RV hookups and just like regular hookups, so we could charge our phones, charge our battery, the external battery packs. So that was really convenient. I don't have any experience with solar panels though. I see a question also down there. Someone's asking about hiking poles and GPS units. You're the hiking pole expert, so I
love hiking poles. I love trekking poles. They're like my lifesaver on my klutz. I fall with grace, and that help my trekking poles help me. But like not only for helping preventing falls, but also use it as a self-defense weapon. That's what I like to think of it. But I never had to use it. And also it has been great for wrangling snakes when you're in the desert. We use that. Or also poking rocks when we were crossing like lakes or streams, depending if you're going to backcountry. I love poking the rocks to see if it wobbles, because if you don't poke it, you can trip and fall. So I actually use that trekking poles for so many things. It's been my lifesaver. And it's also kind of fun to have in your hand when you're hiking. I troll it like a baton. I really wanted to do like a Reels video, just like a hiker with hiking poles, and all of a sudden you start hiking and then you just start trolling it, and then you think like you're like you're some person, like, you know, using like a baton, but like nunchucks. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
like, I'm marching, you know. I was gonna do a video about the different stages of a hiker with trekking poles.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't used trekking poles. I mean, I tend to think of them as just like retractable skiing poles. That's kind of my experience. And I mean, that's kind of a totally separate thing. But yeah, they seem so very useful, and it's just one of those things I haven't gotten around to trying. Um, as for GPS units, I think this also segues pretty well into the safety aspect of a lot of these kind of techie gadget things. I brought like all the stuff that I had laying around. So this is the handheld GPS that we use. We got it very recently, so we only used it a couple of times. But what's really nice about this is that you don't need cell signal. You can get rechargeable AA batteries for it, so you don't have to waste a ton of batteries anyway. And yeah, it comes like preloaded with maps of national forests, national parks, state parks. And you know, occasionally you want to plug it into a computer so it can download updates and like software updates for this little thing. But it's been super cool to have, and like we don't know what all we can do with this yet, to be honest. Because it has a lot of features we haven't just like taken the time to figure out yet. But we didn't buy this one, but this one costs about, I want to say like $200. It's an older model from 2 years ago, I want to say. And it's a Garmin. So Garmin is really well known for all of their GPS, outdoor kind of rugged devices. So I don't think you can go wrong with the Garmin kind of in general. So yeah, but this is also just really great to have. The reason we were gifted this was because we're planning like a longer backpacking trip in the backcountry, where, as we've talked, like you don't necessarily have cell signal, and it's nice to have something that if I drop this, I'm not going to be as sad as if I drop my phone, like in the river or on a rock or something.
Exactly. And do you have to pay a monthly service for it, or is it just like you download the maps and it's all there?
Oh, that's a good question. Not that I know of. So far, we've been able to use it without. So it's like um, kind of the car GPS devices, where I don't know if you have to pay a service for that. But yeah, so far we haven't. So,
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Yes.
everything just comes on here, and it connects to, you know, you can see how many satellites and all that you're connected to, so it gets information from there. But
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's just a regular, it's a Garmin GPS, right?
yeah, this is
Okay.
only GPS, so I'm a little bit sad that it doesn't have satellite communication, because I think that's really important for safety.
And
And I know you, yeah.
And I have like the older version. I got the DeLorean inReach, but now it's called the Garmin inReach. And even though I got an older model, it probably dates back 2016. Like it still works really good. Like it's a GPS. It has a satellite two-way communicator. We got it because we wanted this one so we actually can text. And they have it like, and I wish I had it with me. I've been busy, so sorry. But it actually has like, you can, all the letters on there. So you actually could text. It feels like a BlackBerry. If you're old school, you know what a BlackBerry is.
Yeah.
So it feels like, you know, it's like a black and white screen though, but now they have it colored. But it's really cool. You can actually send like two-way messages. And it takes a little bit longer to send it when they find signal, but you're guaranteed the message to get sent. And you can receive incoming messages. And if you know someone with like also the inReach, you can send messages to each other. I don't think it costs anything to send to each other, but I have that one, and I got it because I know for sure, like I did it for the PCT specifically, but even Stephen, who's experienced, an Eagle Scout, like lived in California, done all that stuff. But for me, I'm so new. He didn't think he needed it, but I needed it because I felt like new. I haven't been this environment. I just knew that will keep my mom happy too, because my mom
Yeah.
is like total Latina, Mexicana, freaks out about everything. I think I'm gonna eat my bear. So like I felt like that make her feel happy. I feel happy that no matter what happens, I'm always just a message away. And I also has an SOS button. Was really cool. And even though it's an older model, it lasts forever. So even though it's 2016 model, 5 years later, it still works like a charm. It doesn't take that much battery, so it can last for days. That was like our backup. We thought we would use it a lot more, but we found out we didn't need to, because phones, like the apps on the phone was actually a lot more handier. But for this, still, it was a backup. Didn't rely much on battery. We can like still communicate with people no matter where we are, and we can like yours, you can download maps into it. It didn't come with maps, but you can actually you have to download maps on a computer, and then you connect this to like your computer, and then you download the maps into it, and it's super cool. And you can like create waypoints. You can see where you've been. So it's like you can check the weather. The only thing about this, I guess, like what's different from yours, is that it costs a little bit more money, and you pay a monthly service fee, and it costs more to do it just by month than annually. And there's two different types. There's like Spot, and then there's the Garmin Enrage, and there's a new one someone mentioned. I was trying to find the name of it, but the biggest things that if you're looking for the satellite two-way communicator, well, depending what you want, like whether you need just a GPS or satellite two-way communicator, depends, like I said, maybe your experience, maybe like how you feel about your safety, maybe even caring your parents. My mom was completely freaked out, so I got for help with my mom, because my mom freaks out, I freak out, so it's just make everyone happy, and then because like I just knew, like I felt more comfortable with that, and then to me that extra like $15 a month was totally worth it. But then if you want to pick between each one, I actually have I have a web page that compares it, but in short, I'm always like in favor. Spot looks like one that, and the other one, I forgot the name, looks more appealing because of the price tag of each device is a little bit cheaper. But what you don't see is that the cost is within the monthly payments, because it's a little bit higher. So it all depends like how often you plan to use it. I'm planning to use it for 5 more years, so it was way more worth it. And there's different features, whether it's just you just want one just to press a button and it says you're okay, or do you want actually like communicate via text. So and then there's like other ones, a much smaller one too. So there's different types, but it all depends like on your preference. But still, each one has a monthly cost. I'm full just getting the best one out there, and just kind of like this is one device that I wouldn't skip out on the cost.
It seems super worth it. And so I'm curious, what the monthly or yearly plan you pay for is just for the like texting service, or is it for more?
Well, you pay it for, there's different variations. Like there's like so it goes with you have the access to text people too. Like the first one, you get like 10 messages, and the next one you get like 25.
I see.
The freedom one. But like even that, like each message for the Garmin's like 10 cents, and I never really get to use them because I just have the preset messages, and preset messages are free. So I actually can edit that on the computer and be like, hey mom, I'm okay, and I have it to my mom, so I can just say that one, like hey, I'm at the campsite, and actually when we get at the campsite, I send it to like Steven's mom, my mom, and somebody else. So I don't have to pay for that. So really, you don't have to pay for the expensive one. It's just but you can preset that before you leave, which is really cool. So that's why you get the minimum one. And if we pay more for each message, we don't care, because it's like, it's well worth our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really awesome. Yeah, I really wish I had a satellite communicator now, especially for for the moments. And I know at least one of the places we've been looking at, you pass around several like ski lodges and other like kind of more populated areas. So maybe I know, I think every other day or something. So maybe it's less of a concern, but it's definitely something I think we're going to think about when we start planning this trip. Are there any questions
Yeah, is there any
on?
questions, favorite recommendations? We've got questions. Do you have any recommendations? Anything you want to talk about? Because we have a list of things, but if you have anything you want to talk about, please write a comment.
Yeah, gadget related or not.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Safety wise, especially here in the winter, I was hearing on the radio the other day how like because of COVID, a lot of people are heading into the backcountry for skiing,
Yeah.
snowboarding, and other winter activities, and they're getting caught in avalanches and dying. Um, there have been several accidents this year already, and so I always go back to Avalanche Beacons and Avalanche, what they call beacons or transceivers. I think they're pretty much the same thing. Um, that I think is like a if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna go to the backcountry, um, in the winter, make sure to carry one of these devices because if you do get caught in an avalanche, it can help search and rescue teams find you because it like emits radio signals. Um, I think that's pretty cool. I think they tend to be pretty expensive. I'm sure Garmin makes them also because that's just their business.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think in general, I mean, we could talk about avalanche safety separately, but I think there are like apps that will tell you also what avalanche areas exist
Mhm.
in your area, so you can kind of prepare in that way as well, just on the topic of safety.
Exactly. Well, I definitely for me because I don't have that experience with like the winter in the backcountry. I've done it before in BCT, but if I was going to do it my own, that's something I would recommend. Like I would personally look into because I do know I read it from someone else's post. I think it was like Rebecca Skittles. She posted about the Avalanche Beacons. Like I think it was yesterday, so it was extremely relevant. But what she mentioned, the most avalanches are actually caused by ourselves being out there.
Yeah.
It's not just something
Hmm.
you can protect. So that's why it's important to carry it. But because I I'm so new to it, I would seek one, or I would ask someone if they have it and borrow it.
Yeah.
Or you can even, I'm sure, you can probably look up and you can probably rent it out. I'm sure there's services for that too. But if this is something that it's either rent it, I would borrow it. If it's something
Absolutely.
that I
Yeah.
wanted to do, like, and I'm serious about it, I would just um, get it and then share it with friends. Because even with my InReach, I just offer people my InReach. You want to use my InReach? But no one does. But so I would just know that I can like let people use it.
That's a really, really good point. I don't know. We haven't really talked to anyone. I don't know if other people use this, like would want to use this, but yeah, like I'd be happy to lend it to someone if they wanted it. So it's always a great, great option, and
Mhm.
you know, it's worth the safety and all that. So
Exactly. In my mind, I'm always thinking about like, because before when I was younger, in my 20s, I didn't care. I'm like, whatever happens to me. Now in my 30s, and I guess I want to see the world. Like, I want to do everything. I want to do the hike the
hmm
Camino de Santiago next year. So I have to live this year and next year so I can do that. So I'm always, and so
yeah,
that's like my thought process. Like I'm going to invest in it now so I can live to tell this tale of my hikes and I can like do more stuff like next year. So to me, it's totally worth it. My life is
yeah,
valuable.
it so is. Yeah, thank you for attending. Someone signing off.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What other kinds of we can talk a bit more about the stuff that we have. I basically showed everything I have. Um, some more like commodity gadgets that I think people don't tend to think about, and I think we can honestly just do like a whole episode on that is cameras.
Yes.
Um, camera, photography, filming equipment, drones. I know you have strong feelings about drones. Do you want to
Yes.
talk about about that?
Yes. First of all, anyone who has a drone, I think that's super cool that you have one. But but
Yeah.
if you have a drone, like please check the website and see if you're allowed to use it because most parks they don't allow drones at all. And if you see videos of someone with the drone, more than likely they broke the law because you're not supposed to do that because usually it is like it's really loud, harmful to the environment. If I know it crashes easily, it can crash. Now it's in an ecosystem that is not exposed to that. It can harm the animals. It's like I get so mad when I see drone videos at state parks and national parks. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to have that there.
Yeah.
And also, if you're thinking about having a drone, forget those awesome aerial shots. Don't get a drone for the purpose of going to these parks and for that reason, for the nature shots. Don't do it. Do it for other things, you know, but don't do it specifically to go outside and hike with it, because I mean the shots are beautiful. It's just that, to me, I feel like that's messing with the lead trace. It's not following the leave no trace behind principles.
Yeah. And so we have a drone here that we got, or someone also gifted it. Our family tends to gift us these really weird gadget things. But so we got that a while ago for like fishing, because a partner likes fishing and he was into it a few years ago, to like, I guess just like scope out places from his like boat, or kayak thing. But we tried flying it around our backyard last summer, and like it's so easy to crash. You have to calibrate it. You have to, you can like, I think he got hurt, like his arm got slashed because it like crashed. So they're definitely, they're not a toy, right? Like I think that's kind of the other thing too, is they're not a toy. They're super cool. I think they're pretty cool, and those videos really do look awesome. But just something to consider is, you know, are you allowed to? Are you harming the environment? Are you potentially going to hurt yourself or other people with it? So,
exactly.
And they're not cheap. It's a really expensive thing to break. So that's kind of one thing. I'm not anti-drone. I don't want to sound like I'm anti-drone, but it's just something to consider.
Exactly.
All these things, honestly, like any tech, if you drop this in the backcountry, it's not gonna decompose, right? It's made of plastic, metals, and all of that. So the batteries contain a lot of toxic materials as well. So
exactly. You don't want to get to the water either. And what if it drops in the water? You know, so it's just, you know, like, so long as we love gadgets, just gotta keep in mind of these things and just make sure they don't hit the water, and make sure you keep them, because most of them are pretty expensive too, like you mentioned. So definitely something to think about. And I'm sorry to be like anti-drones, but I just have a hate anti-drones and like national parks and state parks and those videos. I do my best not to like them. I just ignore them. Like, no, I'm not gonna like this post, because I know it's you're not supposed to, you know, this is, you not follow the leave no trace behind principles.
Yeah, and the thing too, it's so hard to know. It can vary state by state as well, what the regulations are. So just do your research, I guess.
Yeah, do your research, like everything you mentioned. And then also, so drones, do your research. Don't do it just because of these hikes. Do it because for other reasons, multiple reasons. Okay, so then also with just other cameras, that's was the other thing too. We were talking about like GoPros.
GoPros are pretty cool too, I think.
Yeah. But like, does anyone have a GoPro? That's what I'm asking. Or does anyone use it with hiking? You know, I bought a Gopro Hero5, and I thought it was cool, but I don't think it's something good I would use for hiking. I did use it for the PCT, but I feel like for like hiking, it's more like take a picture of nature and a picture appreciation, and I can't like zoom in and get those beautiful shots of the flowers or the trees. So I just miss out that element. So I'm just, after having, like, I thought it'd be really cool, be small and easy to carry, but at this point, despite the weight, I'm actually for just like a regular camera, I have like a Sony A6000. So the big lens, and also, yeah, it doesn't take the best shots, but that's just my opinion. I don't know what you think about
GoPro versus, I take pretty good pictures with my phone these days. Excuse me, I think phone cameras have gotten really, really good. To a point where like a few years ago, I had like one of those like very old digital cameras. Oh yeah, time lapse.
Oh yeah, I love
is
time lapse.
Super awesome.
And it's great for reels.
It's great for reels. It's great, yeah. Just really cool to watch. And I think that's something that the GoPro probably does do pretty well. especially if you're like continuously filming. I know my phone, I have an iPhone, and it has a time-lapse option, but that would just suck up the whole battery, right? If I was using that on a hike. But it's definitely true. I think phone, the moment I knew I needed a new kind of larger camera that I can use, like you're saying, to zoom into flowers or anything else, was when I realized that my old phone took better pictures than my old digital camera.
Uh,
So they've gotten pretty good.
yeah,
I
I'm
would
impressed.
love to have more of a DSLR just so I could control a few more things. I really want to take pictures of the night sky one day.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
but
Oh,
GoPro, I don't have.
and one thing I do want to recommend, instead of DSLR, get a mirrorless camera because I was recommended that because it performs similar to DSLR, but the DSLR just adds such a mouthful. DSLR is heavier, so you get the same
Mm,
thing. It's lighter. So that's why I got the Sony A6000, which is I'm pretty sure it's 2015 model too. Let's get
yeah.
the old models. But that's what I recommend. It's a lighter version. It's not as heavy, but you still get the same quality photo.
Yeah, and you can still control a bunch of different
Yeah.
camera options. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
And
the
it's like,
one thing that, yeah,
go
I
ahead.
was just
Sorry.
gonna say, that's the one thing that bothers me about my current kind of bigger camera is that it's still mostly digital, so I can't control certain features about it
Mm,
to get it. But like you're saying, it's really lightweight, so that's awesome.
yes.
Um,
Yeah. And with the mirrorless
yeah,
cameras, like nowadays, it's like so cool because my friend told me about this, and this was like 4 years ago. Time flies. I think, no, was it 3 years ago? And what's cool with this one, and I got, it's probably it's a 4-year model, is that it's like it has Bluetooth like technology, so I could send the photos to my phone. So that's why I loved it because I can still get that instant gratification and I can still edit it, but I don't have to use my
yeah,
phone's battery. So for me, like I don't know if anyone's deciding what to get. Like maybe they didn't want to buy a new phone. I was just one spot. It's like I don't want to pay $1,000 for a new phone. I'm going to pay for $600 for a new camera, which can last me for a
yeah.
long time. And then I send all those photos to my phone, so people think my phone takes good pictures, but really they all came from my camera. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that was my whole thought process. And because I got really into photography, but no, that's what's so cool about these cameras nowadays. You can do that. That's why I felt like, yeah, GoPro was cool, but now they have this new technology, and I can still do the same thing. I can send photos to my phone. Just it
yeah,
is a little bit more, but to me, that has more value with them being out in nature and outdoors.
yeah. And I think I recently got a tripod to start taking pictures. And I mean, I used to take pictures without a tripod, and it turns out a lot of them were coming out blurry. So
Oh,
they, yeah, maybe I'm just not that good. I don't know. It's just, um, it's really, really helpful to have, and I think most cameras are pretty standardized for most tripods, which I learned, and that was pretty nice. But what my tripod came with was this like Bluetooth shutter button for my phone, which I know is how a lot of people take selfies these days outside. Um, but it's super fun to play with and just have. I remember back in the day, like way back in the day, right? You need to press the like timer and then like run to like get
yeah.
your picture
I
taken.
still do that
Um,
sometimes.
I think it can be good. It's just like a fun experience, but just having that kind of little, and I didn't bring that with me, but it's like smaller than this box,
Mhm.
and just has a little button and connects to your phone. You put your phone on a phone adapter on the tripod, and that was just super cool to have.
That's
Um,
awesome. And that's awesome that yours came with a little Bluetooth remote because mine didn't. And we have someone asks like um, about a good tripod for your phone. So I can give my response, you can give your response, and you can go ahead and go first. You're talking about your tripod and
yeah,
how it the costs into and the size and the like, that's how you navigated to find it.
yeah. The tripod was a birthday gift, I'll say, so I didn't do all of the research for it. But it extends out to like I want to say something like 6 feet tall if you extend all of the legs. And of course it has different angles. I'm trying to remember the brand right now. Um, but Yeah, I can't remember the brand. It's like an Italian brand. Did not get on Amazon. Um, but it was not, it was, I don't know, something like $100, partially because of the shipping and all that.
Mhm.
But it's really, really sturdy. It's really, really lightweight. It fits into my like 13-liter day pack,
Mhm.
which is super nice. And it came with, and again, let me go grab it really quickly.
Okay.
But it came with like a little phone
Little,
adapter as well that I can just hook up.
mhm.
Um,
And I go talk about mine. So mine, I get always kind of good deals on Amazon. Mine's called Zoomy. I think it's called Zoomy. It's like ZZOMEI, and it's like has a red accent to it. I got mine. I think it's like 65. I think mine's like $60 now, maybe 55. It prices change based on this in the season. But mine is supposed
yeah,
to be like lightweight, and mine has like the three. I'm using mine right now, and mine is a actually it's a camera tripod, but I got it because it has like the phone attachment to it,
yeah.
which
Is it
was
like
pretty,
this
yeah,
one?
just like that.
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah, so you basically extend it and it clamps your phone in,
This
and
is
it has this little, mine came with this, oh, there's the brand. It's Manfrotto. Can show that too. I don't know if it's showing at all. Anyway, this clamps onto
yeah,
this and this hooks into the tripod. So,
that looks just like
um,
mine.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can get that's hers, and you can add the names too. Mine's like Zoomy. I just googled it. I think I forgot, like I always go to Pinterest too to look up different
hmm
things for inspiration, but I did my research on Google because I always like love doing research
There.
on gear. But yeah, either one. And so far it works. I got mine because it's lightweight and mine fits on like 13-liter backpack too. And it has, yeah, it's been great so far. Camera, phone. That's how I do everything now. And mine didn't come with a Bluetooth remote, but I found you can find some on Amazon too.
Yeah.
It's like you can get one for $8 or get like two for 10. So I got for 2 for 10 because I'm tend to lose things, but at least
hmm
at my house, I try not to best to lose it on the trail. It disappears.
Yeah.
Just so tiny. But I have that, and it's really cool. That's how I do everything now. Like I do even at home. I'm just so over asking people to take photos of me. I'm like,
hmm
I don't want to do like the selfie sticks. I'm all about just taking photos with my tripod. What's so cool about it is that like even when people look at me in the trail, I'm like, hey, it's a pandemic. I'm by myself. Just like
Yeah.
this is the new thing you gotta do, and they're pretty respectful. They're like, that makes sense. You're by yourself. No one can take a picture of you. I don't want to take a picture of you. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. They're like, maybe I should
Yeah.
do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we have two dogs. I'm trying to take pictures of the two of us with or without them.
Oh
It's
my
just easier
goodness.
when you have that instead
Yeah.
of trying to wrangle them into the picture.
I just press the clicker like 1,000 times so you make sure you get all the shots. That's so cool about having the clicker because
Yeah.
you can take like 100 photos without even trying, and that's how I get like the best pictures on Instagram. Of course, I use that with my phone to get those shots. So but it works.
But yeah, no, it's a really fun thing to have. So do we have any questions at this point?
Yeah.
We're
Any
kind of in the
questions? Or do you have
Q&A
any
time.
recommendations?
Um,
And it's getting close because you're trying to keep it at max. I know we try to do like 45, 50 minutes. But one thing, if no one has any questions, we were talking about go back to phones and like apps because I think it's a really important thing
mhm.
to talk about because if you're just looking into going to hiking and just for a day hike, because maybe for a day hike and wherever you go, it's not like in the backcountry, so maybe you don't need these things. It's important. It's like, I know I do use apps too. Like I heavily rely on apps about it and how to use it properly to minimize your battery usage. So I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to talk about it or
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you post your questions in the comment box? Can be about more recommendations or not. Um, I know an app that I like to use because um, it doesn't just track the path, but it also tracks kind of other things, and it's a bit more of a fitness app, so I can track different activities with it. Is Strava. I think Strava is pretty popular amongst
Mm,
cyclists and runners as well. Um, they've added a bunch of different activities, so you can do water sports. If you want to track your kayaking,
mm,
you can do skiing, and it's pretty cool actually. It like tracks how much distance you cover going up and down the mountain, all these different things. So Strava is an app that I really like, and you can do a bunch of different things with it, and because it's a whole community, you can also share it with your friends. You can participate in like community competitions. I don't do any of that, but if that's something you're into, then that can be fun too.
mm. And
What apps do you use?
me, so I actually don't use any like because I download all my maps, like because I just download my maps, and that's something you can alternative you can do, like, and I recommend for anyone to do whatever apps, like if you're using, and people use All Trails or Gaia or even Google Maps, you can like download everything to offline.
Mm-hmm.
My other one I do use for backcountry for like the PCTVs, Gut Hooks, which I love Gut Hooks, and if
Mm.
anyone's thinking about doing a longer hike, go to Gut Hooks. It's like the most unbelievable app. Has everything has information about has information about water points, like so you can know when you can get water, because when you're
Oh,
hiking, how long to
nice.
know where is the water resource. Tells you where campsites are, and if you're through hiking, it tells you about stuff about in town. That's actually how I wish we could have planned our through hike in
Mm-hmm.
2017. But you actually know like where you're going to town. It tells you about the stores that people leave comments too. So it's super cool,
Oh,
and that's what like I love about Gut Hooks, because it might tell you like water's out, there's no water here, or water's here, there's a water cache here, our campsite is small, our campsite, this has a raccoon boxes or bear boxes here. So it's really cool,
yeah.
and that's what I love about these type of apps, because these like they have comments, and I use those comments a lot, and I know all trails have comments too. So
So
and also
many
with
comments. Yeah.
Gut Hooks, you download the app, you just download the maps, and also I recommend anything. But it's really cool when you download these offline maps; they're accessible to you even when you have no signal, and you can still use a GPS function
Mm-hmm.
without signal. So it's super cool. Just remember that. And then with going with all trails, because it's more of your local neighborhood type of app. You can download like that, but also the apps. But it also tells you comments. So I recommend you use it like look at the comments, because maybe it might tell you a little bit information about what's
Yeah.
there. Maybe like whether the trail is closed,
Mm-hmm.
maybe maybe there's trails closed. A lot of times I know California, things get like, there's always accidents in California, like a trail got burned down and now it's closed, the bridge is closed, as they tread through water. Maybe tell you like something go counterclockwise versus counterclockwise versus clockwise. So, but still,
Yeah.
yeah, download your apps, read the comments, and give you some tips, and that will help you alleviate from using the battery of your
Yeah,
phone.
absolutely. I really like using all trails mostly for planning hikes, precisely for the like comment and like just crowdsourced information about
Same here.
the trail, because it really helps so much with this is a really muddy hike, which of course in Oregon in the winter and fall it's raining, so it's going to be muddy, but it's nice to know like it's muddy and fallen trees. Like, okay, do we still want to do this kind of hike today or not? So it's super, super helpful. And just it's how I often find new hikes as well in the area. Because you can post pictures of the hike as
Yeah.
well for each hike. The only issue, and I think we've talked about this a little bit, is that all trails sometimes will have like the hike that they show isn't actually like an official trail.
Or hike, yeah.
Um, right. Or it's like you walk on the forest road most of the time, and like
Yeah.
that's maybe you're into that, maybe you're not. It's it's up to you, right? You do
Mhm.
you, but it's not something that I'm particularly keen on. So
Yes.
um
Me either. Check your references. Always cross check your references. Always look. Yeah. As Marcella said, I use that as to help pre-plan, but always cross-reference, and we both do that.
We both,
Yes, because
absolutely.
as that happens, that like you will hike and it says like you're hiking, but it's a road. And once I saw like a trail, it was like in Santa Cruz, and it was like, oh, like 2-mile trail. It was like a river walk, a concrete river walk, and it's not a hiking trail. It's just like a pedestrian walk. I'm like, who put that in all trails?
Yeah.
I was like, really cool. Someone doesn't come out here and only like see your pedestrian sidewalk around, this water. That's it. But
Yeah, but I do know that all trails, because it's so accessible, a lot of people who are looking just for like a 30-minute walk or something can use that, because I know there's so many, yeah, I mean, at least in this area, I find a lot of just kind of local parks on the app too. And that's how we found a couple new parks during the pandemic
oh, cool.
as well. But
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
But yeah, there's some good apps, and then I was like Gaia is one of them. And then also one thing too, for your phone, you can always enable your iPhone tracking. You can share it with certain people. So I recommend doing that too. And because I bet iPhone is one of the perks of it. So I'm now like sharing my location with my boyfriend. Just so he knows at all times that when I'm out there hiking that I'm okay and I'm safe. And even though I have my GPS tracker, it's just something that like it's just an extra just extra security. I'm always trying to look out for myself. Like I said, I want to explore everywhere, so I want to live.
And you should, and you totally should. I mean, so anything else? I think we pretty much covered everything. So in the end, I guess maybe we can close out with how do you decide what to get in the end? Like, what resources do you use? And just how do you decide? Because there's so many options.
Yes, and I have like these hearts here. I think I added like eyelashes here. But yeah, how do you decide? And for me, that includes I do tons of research. I love YouTube videos. That's one other thing too, is that I would use that as another resource. YouTube videos, super, super helpful. Tons of reviews, asking people too. Like that's another thing too. I make sure I actually like seeing YouTube videos, and I actually emailed that person and asked like, can you can you please tell me exactly what you got? Is there a newer version? Actually, I saw a video of them like hiking, and I was like, I want your shoes. You did the PCT, Savannah Sierras. I was wondering, you had to. I bought those boots that these people wore, and they can just do that too. Or you can ask us. But yeah, there's different options. So that always ask us, and then as we're closing out, I know you're doing that. I just wanted to remind people that Marcella and I were also going to be on Clubhouse. So we
next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Yeah. We're going to follow up with this and trying to see if we can have a more casual conversation about gear. So if you want to, if you're on Clubhouse, follow us, find me and Heather Diaz. Marcella has the same username.
I'm taken by Mistral here and on Clubhouse to make it a bit easier.
Yeah, we were doing a little bit both. It was a fun conversation on Tuesday. I really loved it a lot.
Yeah, that was super fun. I really liked how at one point I felt like you and I were mostly just like moderating and not so much actually talking. That was really, really awesome to see. And lovely group of a bunch of Latina, like outdoorsy people. It was nice.
It was a dream I always had in my life. And it actually happened. Can you drop the handle here in Clubhouse? We will actually I can let me see. You can find me the Clubhouse. You can find me on you can search Heather Diaz. Diaz. Heather Diaz. But no, it's so much fun. Yeah, we weren't talking that much. It was so cool having everyone just talking about it, and I made me feel calm. That was the coolest thing about it. Like I think this thing
I agree.
Talking about it, I felt no stress, and my friend said it was calming to her too, because finally I was talking not about work.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. I was so excited. I talked to my mom on the phone afterwards, and she's like, "You sound so excited." So I had
Yeah,
to
I was
tell her all about it,
like,
and
yeah.
she was so happy.
Yes.
So,
Yes, so find us there. And as we close out, remind people to leave no trace behind and leave it better than you found it.
yeah, still wear a mask. We're still in a pandemic, and if you're going to the backcountry, check the Avalanche stuff. So,
Yes. Do
um,
that. Be safe.
especially in the winter. All right, I'll talk to you soon.